Comparing teacher salaries between your school district and other school districts is often part of compensation planning and is very important when negotiating with the teachers union. In these quick 6 minutes, we are going to look at 10 formulas to help you analyze and compare your teacher salaries to other school districts. Let's jump in and take a look. When you begin gathering salary data by school district, the data will come in all kinds of formats. Today, we're just going to be looking at the mean salary for each one of these districts, and we're going to begin to analyze the salary. So we'll put all the data into a table. The reason I like tables is that you can manipulate the data very easily, analyze it, and link multiple tables together. The formulas will actually show which table and which formula portion of the table that it's being pulled from. Now let's go ahead and name this table as well. Once we insert it, we're going to go up to and name the table. Therefore, when we link these tables down below to the table above or vice versa, the formulas contain the table and the data that you're pulling. Now let's go ahead and insert just some longevity cash compensation here. We're just going to put in some random amounts here just to give you an illustration of what's going on and how to analyze this data with the formulas that we'll look at in just a moment. The great thing about tables is that you can actually see the formula, the mean salary plus the mean longevity. It's contained within the formula. No C2 plus B2. Now that our data is set up, we're going to run our very first formula, which is a weighted average. Different than just a straight average, we're going to run a weighted average. So we're going to go ahead and sum the number of teachers here, and we're going to use a formula called sum product. There's a couple different ways to get it. You could just equal sum product, or you can come here in the math and trig functions, scroll down and find sum product. However you want to actually go ahead and pull this formula up. I'm going to show it to you here because I'm going to pull in two different arrays, the number of teachers from Toledo to Columbus, and then the mean salaries from Toledo to Columbus. And then we are going to then divide for the weighted average. We're going to divide that by the total number of teachers in the chart above. There you have it, the weighted average. Now let's go ahead and copy the weighted average formula over to the longevity and the total annual salary. The great thing about using tables is the formula is already indexed there, so you can just grab the mean longevity out of the formula and actually change the entire formula for you. The same with the annual total. Just remove the mean, grab the annual total, double click it, insert the annual total column, and now you have the weighted average for longevity and the annual total. For the second formula, we're just going to do average, which we'll use in a little bit in another formula. We're just going to do the average of the salary, longevity, and total annual. For our next 8 formulas, we're going to set up a table, insert all of these functions into a table. We're going to begin by running a minimum. This is just going to find the minimum salary above and return the result. Run the maximum now. The fourth formula here is maximum, MAX. What's the maximum salary above? The fifth and sixth formula will write our quartiles. We're going to pull in the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Quartile is pretty straightforward. You have 1, 2, 3, or 4. The first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum value. We're going to use the lower quartile here, and then in the upper, we're just going to do quartile again, grab the range, and then put in number 4 for the maximum value. And that's quartile. The next 2 formulas we're going to pull in are the percentile formulas. We're going to pull in the 10th percentile and the 90th percentile. 10th percentile being in the lowest range and the 90th percentile being in the highest range. So we'll pull in the percentile formula, put in 0.1, and percentile, the range again, and put in 0.9. And it'll pull in the 10th and the 90th percentile. The ninth formula is the range, which is simply the difference between the maximum salary and the minimum salary. The final formula we're going to run is standard deviation. It's just going to pull in the standard deviation of those salaries above, STDEV. It'll pull in those, and then we'll just drag these formulas all the way across for the longevity and the total annual salary. And then we'll go ahead and insert. Let's go ahead and do a distribution here so that we can set up and see if these salaries are approximately normal in a bell curve. We'll use normal distribution, which is just grabbing that mean salary, the average, the simple average, and the standard deviation, and then false, and it'll bring in the distribution. We'll change this to a number so we can actually see this distribution and then select it for all of those mean salaries. Now let's filter this highest to lowest so we can set up a chart to examine if this is a normal distribution, which should resemble a bell curve. This salary data appears to have a slight positive skew.